Paris Roubaix, arguably the hardest one-day race in the world. 257 kilometers long, with 54 kilometers of the hardest cobbles you could possibly imagine. Bone-sappingly brutal, but also one of the sport's biggest spectacles. The blood, the sweat, the tears, the glory! But wait, wouldn't it just be easier if everyone did it on a gravel bike? Now we have come to various points on the Paris Roubaix course, and we plan on testing out our bikes on the two different sections to get a rough estimate of the differences in speed and time of the two different bikes. Paris Roubaix is 257 kilometers long. The route consists of 202.5 kilometers of paved roads and 54.5 kilometers of brutal cobbles across 29 different sectors, such as the infamous Carrefour De L'Arbre. Now I think a road bike is going to be quite a lot faster than the gravel bike on the paved road sections, but by how much? And will the gravel bike overturn the road bike's lead on those really brutal cobbled sections? And across the whole Roubaix course, will the gravel bike actually beat the road bike? I mean, look at the size of these cobbles, the gaps in the stones, the irregularity, just the sheer brutalness of it. I can barely walk on them. So this is the bike I'm going to use in our experiment for the road bike trial. I'm going to use the Orbea Orca, size 60, because I'm very tall obviously, and it's just the normal road bike you'd use for everyday riding. It's also the bike that any of the pros would use in Paris Roubaix. It's purely set up to race, perform at the absolute limit and top performance on the road, paved surfaces. Cobbles are a big test, but it can conquer them and it will be pretty fast. I don't know if it will be as fast as the gravel bike, but we will see. I've opted for 28mm tyres with around 60 to 70 psi. I've gone lower pressure in the tyres just to give me a bit more traction and comfort on the cobbles. The usual road wheel set, my Mavic Cometti Pro Carbons. Apart from that, it's just everything you normally see in our road bikes. So let's see, this is a top of the range bike. It is going to be designed for speed. Let's see how it compares to the gravel bike. Maybe I will be proved wrong. Maybe it will actually be faster than the gravel bike on the cobbles. So this is the gravel bike that I'll be using on the test. It's a Canyon Grail CFSL, and I guess the main difference that you can see is the wider tyres, providing a lot more surface area on the cobbles. I think this will really make a big difference actually in the test, especially on the Paris Roubaix cobbles where you see those big gaps between the stones. On a road bike you can sometimes lose your wheel in the gap and that can really throw you off, and I think on the gravel bike you're going to kind of flow over the cobbles a lot more. The other difference is the clutch mech. I think that will keep the chain on. Or possibly on the road bike I might lose a chain on these cobbles. It really is that rough, and if I don't lose the chain, obviously I'm not going to have to stop and put it back on again, so that's a definite bonus. The Canyon Grail also has this rather unique bar setup. Canyon christen it the hover bar, and according to them it will dampen the vibrations and the impacts you'll receive on the road. This, I think, is going to make a massive difference in our experiment, especially on these really hard Paris Roubaix cobbles. Your hands and your arms are just in pieces during any effort, especially after such a long day as well. At the end of it, I've finished a race and literally not been able to get my hands off the bars. They're aching that badly. So I think during the experiment, if I'm able to use the hover bar and take any sort of vibrations out of the effort, I'll be able to put more power down on the bike, and it should help me go faster. So I think this is going to be a big advantage. Also, you might notice that my Wahoo is being kind of improvised on the bars, and there's only one reason for this, and that's because I forgot the integrated stem that would normally go on these Canyon Grail bars and stems, so that's my fault, everyone. Sorry about that, but it'll do the job. Now we have come up with a few different experiments to really try to get to the bottom of our conundrum. We found a 2-kilometre section of paved road, and we've also found a 2-kilometre section of possibly the most brutal cobbles you could possibly imagine. I'm going to ride as hard as I can over each experiment, over each section, to really get to the bottom of the differences between the two bikes. We have a power meter on both bikes, and I'm also wearing a heart rate monitor. So we've got enough stats to really analyse each effort. And I'm really interested to see which one's going to be fastest actually, so I guess there's only one thing for it. Let's get started. Right, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do it. Grip in. Okay, we're going. After getting up to speed quickly, the road bike came into its own on the paved roads, and I found it easy to settle into a good pace. I felt like I was right back in a race, and the familiar feeling of adrenaline was flowing. That hurt the legs. Lungs as well, lungs were burning. Felt like I had some good speed though. But I guess it's over to the gravel bike now. Let me go and recover first. And let's go. Come on. I had to put down a bit more effort getting going on the gravel bike. The legs were definitely stinging throughout the effort, but I was surprised at the speed I could achieve and maintain. Oh, gave my best effort there. It was definitely harder to get up to a top speed, I think. You got more rolling resistance on the tyres, they're obviously wider, so yeah, I guess I struggled to get up to that speed, so I'm not sure how it will compare what time I did. But anyway, let's get to the cobbles. Right then, first up, the road bike. I'm gonna head off, give the cobbles a go, see what time the road bike can put down. 3, 2, 1. Right, let's do it.
I gave it all I had on the cobbles, but they were just brutal, and I definitely lost my speed in places. If I'm honest, I was grateful just to make it to the end.
Oh, that was sketchy. Flipping heck. Oh, it is, you just forget how hard those cobbles are, I think. I gave it a good effort anyway. Hopefully I've done a respectable time. I could get the speed going on there's some good sections, I could get the speed going well there. But on the middle section, it's so tough. I was struggling just to keep the bike upright. So we'll see how it compares anyway to the gravel bike. But yeah, that was hard. I'm ready to go. Well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go, I'm a bit nervous, but anyway, only one thing for it. Here we go. Hard as I can go. Come on, gravel bike.
The gravel bike definitely flowed over the cobbles, and I found it easier to maintain my speed.
I didn't tighten my wahoo enough.
Saying that, these cobbles are so hard, and I still had to concentrate to keep my balance. Okay, I'm going to be honest, I actually had to do a second run on this attempt.
Oh man, it was still super hard on the gravel bike, I tell you. They're just so just so hard, like so really just shock you. I was struggling to keep my line actually at some of the parts, but I I still think the gravel bike was faster. Not sure how much, I'm really interested to find out. It definitely helped, it felt smoother. I could kind of glide over the cobbles a bit better and I didn't have to be as picky with my line. Definitely more comfortable. I'm just hoping that's translated to speed, and I'm hoping we've picked up some ground on the road bike there. So I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But flipping heck, it's tough, those cobbles. Back in the studio, recovered from Belgium. Thank goodness, I was absolutely freezing, I tell you. But it was nice to be home. And I say home because I'm not actually in the studio, I've just kind of made this up myself, given the circumstances. And this is actually a spare room in my mother-in-law's house. So bear with us, folks, but it'll do for the time being. And first and foremost, let's run through the results. The cobble bike versus the road bike on the Paris Roubaix course. And it was freezing, the terrain was difficult, but I think we always want to see the results. So let's go through them. So on the paved road section first, I have the results in front of me. The road bike completed a 2-kilometre course, ready? 2 minutes and 50 seconds, an average speed of 42 kilometers an hour, average power, 400 watts. Not bad, to say so myself. The gravel bike, however, see, is a little slower, 3 minutes and 5 seconds, average speed of 39 kilometers an hour. Similar average power, 395 watts, so pretty similar force being put down on the pedals there. But let's move to the cobbled section, and most importantly, I'm really hoping the gravel bike made some gains here. It was in its element on this terrain, so without further ado, let's see how they compared. And the road bike managed 3 minutes and 50 seconds, average speed of 31 kilometers an hour, average power 370 watts. And it's a pretty respectable time, I think. The gravel bike, however, managed 3 minutes 30 seconds, 20 seconds faster, average speed of 34.2 kilometers an hour, and an average power of 360 watts. So we've got the results. Let's extrapolate that now over the whole Paris Roubaix course and see which bike comes out on top, which bike was the best really for the Paris Roubaix cobbles. The road bike completed the paved road section 4 hours and 49 minutes and the cobbled section 1 hour and 45 minutes. So that's 6 hours 39 minutes for the whole course. Just keep that there, remember that number. And the gravel bike, okay? This is where, cross the fingers, see what it managed, okay? So on the road section, slower, which I was expecting, 5 hours and 11 minutes. And the cobbled section, 1 hour 35 minutes. So it was faster on the cobbled section. The whole course, 6 hours 46 minutes. So the road bike was faster across the whole course, but only 7 minutes. The gravel bike was only 7 minutes down, which isn't that much. It's pretty close actually at the end. So yeah, I guess we've got to admit defeat. But I've still got some ideas. I think I can come back and make some improvements. But bear in mind, there are a few caveats to this. And firstly, Paris Roubaix, it doesn't hit the cobbles until 93.5 kilometers into the race, historically anyway. So I think, although the gravel bike was only 7 minutes faster over the whole course, if I'd have been in a race situation, I think I'd have really struggled actually to stay in the peloton for those 93 kilometers, and I probably would have been dropped. I mean, I'd probably been dropped anyway, but I think I'd probably been dropped this time for sure. And that would have left me on my own. I'd have been battling against the wind, and I'd have lost whole chunks of time. And any gains the gravel bike made on the cobbles would have probably been overturned because of this. So you've got to bear that in mind. Also, I did 2 kilometer TT test. So we're not really taking the drafting of a race into account. And I was going max effort over those 2 kilometers. We're not really taking fatigue into account across the whole 250k course. But I think still, even though the gravel bike was slower, in my head I'm thinking the cobbles in Paris Roubaix, they all come towards the end of the race. So maybe
you could do a bike change onto your gravel bike in the really tough part of the race when the cobbles are coming thick and fast. Or even have it as a spare bike if you had a mechanical and you wanted to change bikes anyway, why not change onto the gravel bike? And I think at this point, maybe it would have been an advantage. So that's something to bear in mind. And also, if it was a super, super rainy Paris Roubaix, mud everywhere, I mean like abysmal weather, we haven't seen that much in recent years, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on if you're a rider or a fan. But if it was those abysmal conditions, I think the gravel bike would have seen more, it would have had a better advantage, I think. I think it would really overturned its deficit to the road bike and potentially been a big contender for the whole course, especially in those last sections where there'll be farmer's mud and all sorts on the cobbles, and I think it could have steamed ahead. So just a few things to bear in mind there. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that one. It was great fun to make, especially riding those cobbles, even if I did get absolutely freezing. But please let me know in the comment section below, which bike would you rather have ridden at Paris Roubaix, the gravel bike or the road bike? I'd be really interested to hear the answers to this one. And thanks for watching, everyone. It's time for me to go because I think the mother-in-law's calling me to do a bit of an odd job around the house, so I better get off. Thanks for watching, folks.
It's not tarmac.